Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for another video. Today, we are rigging the Maxel Dragonfly. This, despite how it looks, despite how simple it looks, is actually kind of a difficult jig to rig because of the shape. And you'll find it hard to believe that you would have to juggle different types of hooks just to be able to kind of fit this perfectly. And overall, pretty straightforward leaf jig. This is a jig that you use much like any wide jig. This is when the currents are low, but the thing with this is that it has a sliding action. So keep that in mind. If you want something that actually flutters and slides, this is the jig to use. And this thing is actually good for slow pitch and long fall. This is where it shines. Okay, and this color is pretty good overall. You have glow at the back, silver. So when you're actually fishing for stuff that's say under 100 meters, the flash is what makes it work. But when you're down deep, when you're dropping to the bottom where the light don't reach, you have the glow. So it's a very good tool to use pretty much for your first drop. All right. So when you're exploring water depths and whatever's down there, very good jig to use. This is the 330 gram version. And also one thing that's unique about this jig is that if you're getting the lighter versions, they're narrower. So in effect, they're kind of different jigs. Okay, so again, we are rigging the 330. Steps in hook selection is the same, but the hook sizes would be different. And today we're using the Jigger Medium Chase. I love these hooks. It's just that they're kind of pricey, but they're so freaking good. Again, just because of the shape of the jig, it kind of looks weird that we're using this hook and it looks small. But if you see, we go at the halfway point right there. We hold it into the widest part and you'll see that it just sticks out a little bit. And that's what you want. Again, we'll do this up front just so you can see. Like so. You can see that it's actually sticking out just a tad bit right there. All right. So as per usual, what's going to happen is we are going to rig the back first. And for this, we're actually using the SS. Okay. And this is number 40. Okay. So I love these. I really do. But it's a love-hate relationship. These things are a nightmare to work with for when you're trying to splice them. But as far as how it is as a an assist hook cord, holy crap, it's so good. It is just so good, but it's so difficult to work with. That's the problem. The difficulty in working with them is just insane sometimes. All right, so we're not going to bother taking off the core because we want this a little bit stiff. But eventually, the nature of this is that it will, okay, I will repeat, it will be very pliable down the line. Okay, and we're also going to be doing something kind of different right now. It's that we will be putting the rings first. Now, the reason being is that I don't want to go through the trouble of tying without the ring, and I don't have anywhere to put the hooks. So just for that sake, it is just another way of tying. It is not a variation of like something, you know, or you're not missing something important. The reason why I don't like this is because you pull on this to tighten everything, and it's difficult. Okay, because this thing is stiff, and it's not the best cord to be doing this with. The stiffness is actually kind of too much. Okay. Right. Let us fix this because it's wrong. Sometimes it's just difficult to get this thing doing the thing you want to do. And you have to keep everything equal. That's the problem. Okay. Also, the braid itself, the cord itself, it's not, as I mentioned several times already, it is not simple to work with. And I don't mean that. I don't mean that to be funny or whatnot. It is the truth. Okay. I'm not just scaring you. Now that we have it tied correctly, we will pull both legs that it has created as tight as we can. Once we do that, we will go for each. Okay. Now, if they're not equal, that's fine. Okay. That is quite tight. Okay. So I had to zoom out just so you could see exactly what was happening. Now we can trim to ensure that we start off with the same length, and that's very important. Now I'm going to bring you in, tie this upside down. Now first we have to figure out exactly what we want here. Okay, it's like that. Okay. Okay. What we'll do is we'll tie a knot. Like so. Again, before we do anything, we have to measure, see where we're at with this. All right, I'm happy with that. While we're here, now that we have this ring, we could actually tighten this even better, like so. Okay. Now we do the other one. Okay, you'll see that it's not equal. But check this out. Take this, loose, not tight. Okay, right there, loose, not tight. I usually put it at the very bottom so I can do this. Now look at that. See? One is slightly shorter. I could just tighten that up and you can see that they're equal. Because if you snug things down, that's exactly what happens, and There's little variance there. Now we can trim, close, like so. Don't have to burn it because this actually works different. All right, now we can check to see where we're at right here. Just line things up. It should end there. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now we lock in and tie. Oftentimes when I rig wide jigs, you know, there's always a debate on whether you should be using bigger, wider hooks. Most of the time, people tend to use hooks that are too small, and they miss a lot of fish because of that. But what's really important is that it should be the right size so that it does not get snagged on the jig. If it's too big, it will snag. And the drag it creates in the water shouldn't be too much that it impedes the action of the jig itself. And at the same time, the most important, of course, is to hook. And more important than that is to hold the fish. Small hooks do not hold fish well. That is the problem. You just tie per usual. Okay, perfect. Now I can do my whip finish. Okay, we tighten. And this is done. Okay. Now, let's do the other one. As you can see here, let's do a measurement. There we go. Good placement. Okay. Good stuff. Okay. Now, this one, you can see, while we're tying, we could actually put this on the solid ring, and it's easier to manage. This base is very important so that it will not slide around. So it's important that you actually do this. If you want to use super glue at this stage, go right ahead. Okay, it's a good bind. Now we just spiral, and these spirals are also quite tight. Now this spiral is to keep everything in place and centered. All the way to the end right there. Okay, Have to ensure that it is perfectly centered before you actually do 2 tight wraps in front of everything. Okay, that basically holds everything in place. Oh, good placement. Now, you could take this, okay, and it will actually hold. See, it holds it in place, so you don't have to worry. It's just basically just to make it short. Okay, now you can wrap back. Okay, looks good. Now our wraps. Cut off. And there you have your completed back hook. Okay. Now, when this is needed, we stretch it because stretching this actually sets everything. There we go. That is set. Let's go ahead and put it on our dragonfly. So with this, the side with the eye is where the hooks should sit. Okay, there we go. As you can see, as soon as you loosen it, it wants to go that side. See? That means that this side is heavy. Different manufacturers, even jigs from the same manufacturer, need to be checked. Okay. And there are hooks. So I'm just gonna, by the way, there's 2 measurements here. This is the relaxed measurement, which means that this is how it's going to be when it's going down, the relaxed. And then the other measurement is obviously when you're pulling, and that's when it goes like that. Obviously, that's going to be quite far. And the most important for this, when you're pulling up, would be the ones here. When it's falling down, okay, that's the measurement right there, so that they don't tangle. Because while it's falling down, it's going to be all over the place like that. So you have to measure. You see the split ring there? Okay, because most of the time the split ring would be like that when it's falling down. Sometimes it's going to be on the side right there, but most of the time it's going to be here at the back. So that's kind of like your tension measurement. I know people don't go that deep for that. It's just me being a nerd and all. So just FYI. Okay, now take a measurement for the okay, so we take the measurement like this. There will be excess, definitely. There will be excess, but that's fine. There we go. There's going to be a bit of excess. Also, we're going to be taking off the core of this and replacing it with fluorocarbon. This is size 40 and this is for SS. This is the smallest that comes with the core. The 30 is the smallest that comes as hollow. There we go. Just pulled it off. It's actually easy to do. Just pulling it out. That's fine. Now we take, this is 25, if I believe, yeah, 25-pound test. For our European friends, that's 0.47 mm. For the Americans, that's 25 lb. This is number 8 for our Asian friends. Alright, so there we go. Okay, easy to insert the fluorocarbon, and then all we have to do is just, again, tie a knot. Fluorocarbon will make it easy for you to actually just go through the hole, like, or the loop, like that. Okay. So we have that. And then do this side here. So this is why I actually cut the fluorocarbon long, if you were wondering. All right. So I'll take this right here. Okay. I'll grip it like that. And then this one actually has a hole. Okay. So these pliers, you can see there's a hole. Okay. I could just put that in the hole. I'm choosing the smaller of the two. Kind of hard to grip though. This is still better, like here. You know, just put it there and then pull. Okay. These two are tight. Now we can cut. There we go. All right. And then we can go ahead and tie these two. Yeah, let's do the solid ring like we did the other one. This is going to be very short. It's also going to be quite difficult because of the difficult to tighten because of the fluorocarbon core, but that's pretty much what we have done here. Okay, so we have done that. Okay, now we are going to tighten this, and it's no small feat, I can tell you that. It is difficult. Okay. Now, that's tight. Now we can do individual. So not easy. All right. So we have that. Now, just a bit of an insurance for this, because the fluorocarbon is for sure sticking out. We'll just put this to the flame to take off the fuzz. That's it. All right. Now it's time to tie them up. So long jigs are very easy to rig compared to these guys right here. Sometimes I look forward to tying assist hooks for long jigs rather than the short ones. The short ones are kind of the short wide ones are not easy. I think if you like tying for the short wide ones, you are a different breed. But see, the thing is, a lot of people outside of Asia are more familiar with the wide jigs and think that that's the pure slow jig shape, right? Because that's basically what you see first. So naturally, there'd be people that like rigging for short jigs. Okay, now we just spiral. Again, I am making my spirals tight. Now I'm going to show you a fly fishing trick that actually kind of makes sense. I don't understand why I haven't been doing this. So you spiral going forward, then you spiral going back. Okay, and what that does is actually even out your material. That way, when you go forward, they're easier to actually lash down because you don't have bumps on one side. Okay, and also what this does is when you go back like this, you're in the perfect position to actually wind forward and tie it off. Sometimes when you start here, go back, you end up wanting to tie it off here, and it'll be kind of too thick to go forward. But with this, because you're starting from the back, it will be cleaner and more consistent. That's just for guys that are anal about these things. Obviously, you don't have to do that. But it will come out cleaner. Now, every so often, I actually tighten my base. I am using a clamp base, obviously. So I have to tighten the base down here and then a knob here to adjust this. Okay, see? So I had to constantly do that just so I get the performance that I want. Something that's inherent with these rotary vices, of course. I'm not saying you buy a rotary vise, but it is quite useful. It's just that If you have it already, great. If you can afford it, fine. But if you don't have it, don't even. But it's nice to be able to see, like for this one, I'm going to check the back to see if there are gaps like that. These are things that are just anal, anal stuff. This is what fly fishing does to you. Fly tying. All right, now. But you do learn a lot in fly tying, like handling materials and stuff. And look, this is a trick that like what I've told you or taught you earlier is actually several tricks that I've used on learned from fly tying. That whole material handling thing with the spirals and all that. That's fly tying. Okay, I made a mistake here. See, if you make a mistake, back down, back out, back out. It's fine. Okay, our mistake here is that we can position this so that the hooks would be perfect, like so. Okay, if I continued with that, we'd have to twist it to keep it in position, but we could do it here right now. So all I have to do is just back off and repeat, and that's fine. There we go. So spiral forward. And I am doing this really tight. You just have to be careful. Now, as soon as you reach the end, there's 2 wraps. Okay, 2 or 3. They'll keep everything in place, like so. Now, spiral back. Right there. And you'll see that the surface you've created is already relatively flat. Which means that your thread would easily go forward and you could do touching turns to make it super clean. Okay, so that's your first pass. And then your third, which is your last pass. And there you go. And we survived without getting stabbed too. Okay, now we can tighten. And that is it. That is done. Now, aside from the glue up, pretty much, this is it. Now, we just have to always do this, it sets everything. See, this ensures that all these wraps are compressed by these knots. Okay, there we go. And remember, these are stiffies because we put fluorocarbon in the thing. Okay, now okay, now we see exactly how this looks like. Okay, there we go. Now I'm gonna zoom you guys out. Okay. Now get our hook. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Good placement, as you can see. Okay, even if, let's say, it's on a relaxed state, you can see that they will not tangle with each other. Okay. And that is it. It's a good looking jig right there. All right. So guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me and rigging this Dragonfly Maxel. Hope you learned something. If you have questions, drop them in the comment section and I'll get back to you. If you haven't yet, like, subscribe, share, the usual stuff. If you're new to the channel, if you like this sort of thing, browse the channel. This channel covers fly fishing, ultralight, everything in between, even big game and micro stuff. And this is a fishing educational channel, just so you know. There's a lot of videos like this in the channel, so go ahead and browse around. And for the others, thanks so much again. I'll see you next time. Class dismissed.